And there we go. So it begins. So starting out, Zelda Seasons starts out in classic Zelda fashion, opening with Link in a new world, waking up, and hanging out at a little dance party going on here. Talking to some people, getting to know what's going on, before we're going to talk to the main girl of the game, Din. Din is the Oracle of Seasons, and the whole motif of Seasons is going to be our main theme throughout the entire game. Everything starts out all nice and fun until tragedy strikes and everything goes haywire. It's tragic, it's sad, but we become familiar with and get introduced to our main villain of the game, who takes on the appearance of a tornado in his first appearance. And this is the only time we see him as a tornado. But this is General Onyx. Onyx comes in to steal the girl and trap her and send the Temple of Seasons down in the ground. So, as with all Zelda games, or most Zelda games, Link is on a quest to save the girl. We've got to save Din. But things are a little bit out of whack as a result of Din being captured and the temple being sundered. Primarily, the seasons are all out of whack. Nothing is quite right. You go from one area of the world to the next, and it's shifting from autumn to spring to summer to fall to winter. Without much rhyme or reason. Start of this game is just a lot of text mashing and cutscenes, so the time difference that you see here between the two runners is going to be coming down solely to text mashing speed and avoiding some double talk. Looks like Dragon's a little bit in the lead at this point. A little bit faster on the mashing and the movement at the start. But, yeah. Dragon's going to make his way through town really quickly and head on towards the Hero's Cave, which serves as a sort of introductory area of the game where Link is going to be picking up his sword, as well as learning some of the basic mechanics of a 2D Zelda game. Things like pushing blocks and walking around paths without falling in holes, and learning what it's like to get hit by keys all the time for an entire run. Fun stuff, you know? It's a classic. Nothing terribly difficult or special here. You're going to see the first of many save and quits after both of our runners pick up the key here out of the chest. They will do a save and continue, and then a soft reset, which is just done by pushing A, B, start, and select at the same time. And this just saves time in a number of places throughout the run, warping you back to the entrance of a dungeon or certain sort of spawn points in different caves that is just used to move around a little bit quicker. Dragon gain a pretty solid quick sword, and is going to be making his way back through the town in order to talk to the Maku tree. Dragon's going to attempt to avoid getting winter in the town. It is random. He does not. Okay, so because he got winter, he's going to leave and re-enter to reset the season. qdoe doesn't get winter, so he's able to go right ahead, catching up to Dragon a little bit. The reason that we have to reset when we get winter is that winter will cause a giant snowdrift to spawn right where they're walking right now, that they would have to go around. So they'd have to go down and around the ring shop, which just takes a very long time. So it's faster to just go and reset the season really quickly. But they make it in to the Maku tree, talk to the Maku tree, who is having a little bit of a nap. He's going to get the Dungeon 1 key. Unfortunately, I think Dragon double talked to the tree. The tree asks you, as in a lot of Zelda games, hey, do you want me to say this again? And Dragon hid yes. So qdoe taking the lead there as a result, as they make their way towards Dungeon 1. And in a familiar Zelda fashion, what better Zelda engineering than to put a key into a rock to make a tree come up from the ground? It's beautiful. But this is the first dungeon, the Gnarled Root Dungeon, which is, as you would expect from a first dungeon in Zelda, very straightforward and simple. Nothing too difficult or complex in the dungeon. We do add a little bit of complexity later on in the run that I'll get to when they get there. The layout of this dungeon is identical to the layout of Zelda 1 first dungeon, which is the shape of an eagle. You're not going to see it because they're not going to pick up the map, and they're certainly not going to show the map because I don't have it. You're watching Dragon. You saw him get a couple of extra kills there on the red Zols that qdoe walked by. That is because of a manipulation that Dragon is going to be doing that qdoe is not. After Dungeon 1, Dragon is going to be attempting to get the Power Ring, which is the level 2 Power Ring, which is a ring that increases your sword damage by a flat bonus of 2, but it makes you take half a heart more damage every time you get hit. So makes the run faster. It makes the run about 30 seconds faster than a no-ring route, and around a little over a minute faster with a heart ring route. We'll see if qdoe is going to go for if he's going to go for the heart ring route or the no ring route after Dungeon 2. But Dragon is more or less attempting to get 30 kills here in Dungeon 1, as he needs 30 kills in order to spawn Maple. As Dragon's now in the Dungeon 1 mini-boss, Goria. Quick fight. If you throw the bomb correctly, you can get a double hit on the blue Goria and just get some easy 3 sword swings and you're fine. qdoe having a pretty clean fight as well, as Dragon picks up the seed pouch. The seed pouch comes with 20 ember seeds, which we can use to burn things, burn trees, light torches, burn enemies. But we will be picking up a variety of seeds as we progress through the dungeon, each with their own unique value to the run. Dragon picking up the boss key here before getting pushed to the side and wasting a seed. He's going to be going for a hard reset to do a manipulation. So hard resetting is the equivalent of powering the console off and turning it back on. And in doing so, it resets your RNG value to the same point. And by recognizing those RNG values and using your sword to slash, you can read the RNG and roll it forward in a way that is preferable for enemy spawns, certain item drops, and boss fights. So this is our first boss, Aquamentus, the Dungeon 1 boss fight. Aquamentus has a move where he puts his horn down and charges forward at you, and you can't hit him. That loses about 7 seconds on the fight. So by doing the manipulation, we ensure that we get a quicker Aquamentus fight and make everything a lot more smooth. Despite what chat might be telling you, it is in fact not my birthday. That is a lie. Please. Dragon cleaning up on Dungeon 1 very nicely. We're going to see if he got enough kills for Maple. It looked like he did, but we'll see just right here. Yes. So he's now going to be doing some sword slashes, and oh no, he messed up. It seems like Dragon made some sort of error for the Maple manip. Not sure entirely what caused it, but he is currently off. qdoe, meanwhile, not getting the Maple because he didn't go for extra kills. So he's just going to continue straight towards D2. Dragon's still in the lead, though, for the time being. Getting the early Ember Seed. There's a couple of pixels frames where you can throw the Ember Seed and have it pause in midair as the man with the guitar there, Sakura, comes to talk to you. It saves not a lot of time. It saves like less than half a second, but still nice. Cool. Saves a couple of frames. And we get to Rosa. Rosa is our first interaction with Subrosians. That you're gonna see here. Rosa has 2 patterns for each screen, a quick pattern and a slow pattern. Both runners using sword slashes to manipulate which screen they get, as well as getting double 5 rupee drops from the signs on this screen. So long as they do it correctly. And it looks like both runners still good thus far. As Dragon makes his way into Subrosia. Subrosia is the underworld to the overworld of Holodrum, where you have these robed individuals called Subrosians, and they live there. They do everything here. They bathe in lava. They carry buckets on their back. They like to melt things. They have a furnace, a whole bunch of stuff. It's a great place. Great vacation spot. But the reason we're here right now is to pick up the Rod of Seasons. In the beginning of the game, you saw the cutscene where Onyx sunk the temple into the ground. This is where it ended up. So we come over and pick up the rod. And the rod, as we power it up, is going to allow us to control the season as we get gems that we slot into it for each of the seasons. For each of the seasons. Starting out, we can only get the season of winter. So we're just going to make a quick stop over there to pick that up. When the runners get winter, they will be able to freeze over lakes, as well as create small snow piles that can be dug up, large snow piles, snow drifts that you can walk on, and it also withers trees, so you can walk by certain areas that you are not typically able to walk by. They're going to be doing a quick save and quit out of the tower as well, and will be making their way back to the overworld, back to Holodrum, in order to make their way towards Dungeon 2 with their newfound abilities. Makutri stops by, give a little bit of advice. Hey, you should go that way. Good talk, Makutri. Good talk. What a helpful guy. Dragon making his way out. There's a sadness here as this screen the Dragon's walking by right now. That man in the blue, the Subrosian in the blue, does throw a boomerang, but we can't stay long to watch it because it'll roll the RNG forward and ruin Dragon's manipulation. Both runners are still currently on manipulation. You saw Dragon do some sword slashes there to make sure that he stayed on it. We talked to Sakura one more time. Change the season to winter when we hop on the stump and walk forward. Dragon holding onto his manipulation despite getting hit there by the Octorok. We'll see if he can hold it all the way through to the entrance of Dungeon 2. And in rational fashion, Link falls into the chimney, falls down the chimney rather, into this woman's house. This woman's named Holly. And rather than call the Zelda police or anything like that, she just makes you pay for it by giving you a shovel and telling you to dig up the snow in front of her house. So, you know, I mean, all in all, we got a cool nifty shovel that we're going to use a couple times here. So that's nice. Dragon may have messed up his manipulation here. It's hard to say. He might be able to save it just fine. We'll see as he gets into the rope room of Dungeon 2. This is Dungeon 2. Another fairly basic dungeon overall, not too much difficulty in the dungeon itself. There is a slight bit of complexity to it involving a number of save and quits and side entrances that we're going to be utilizing. Picking up a key and then doing a save and quit, lighting some torches. And making way towards... Oh, it looks like he is in fact on the manipulation. He should be able to throw a single bomb here and get the kill on both of these moblins. We will see if he gets it. Yep, gets them both, pushes them into the hole, picking up the Dungeon 2 item, the Power Bracelet. It gives Link very nice muscles that allow him to pick up heavy objects like pots and bushes and rocks. And it also looks a little bit like a tasty snack. Little power croissant there. Not too bad. qdoe, however, not getting the manipulation for the quick moblin kill. So a little bit of struggling here. He could pull out the bomb to throw. But the opts instead to wait. Picking up the power bracelet. And as always, also going to save and quit. Dragon in here. In this bombable room, trying to get to the chest. The chest here is on a timer, technically. However, the timer is quite slow. So you can miss 2 full bomb throws and still make the timer absolutely fine. If you miss a third one, you could find yourself in trouble. And at risk of missing it. Dragon taking the other side entrance. Having some trouble with Keese and the roller there. Getting hit a couple times. We'll see. I know Dragon likes to do a potential damage boost here, but choosing not to, playing it safe. You can take a 2 hearts worth of damage and damage boost through that blade for a little bit of time save, but since he only has half a heart, he opts not to, especially since he does not pull out his sword here to try and save a little bit of time and gets hit by those ropes a couple of times as well. Dragon's going to make his way now towards the Dungeon 2 mini-boss, who is Facade, which, you know, you're not really going to see much of, at least at this point in the run, as the Japanese version of the game has a region-exclusive glitch wherein you spawn Facade's hitbox as soon as you enter, but you don't actually spawn Facade until you enter the lower half of the dungeon, or of the room. So you can just throw your 5 bombs to get the kill without even worrying about the spawning at all. This gets fixed in English, so if you're playing an English casual playthrough and you attempt this, you will find yourself out of bombs quite quickly. qdoe trying to play a little bit of a risky game here, not pulling out the sword at all to try and get rid of the keys. A little bit scary, but seems to be okay. Makes it to Facade. Also going to pull out his bombs and do the same thing as Dragon makes his way towards the boss key. A couple of moving platforms here. These moving platforms have somewhat wonky hit detection on whether or not you're standing on them. So it's important not to get too hasty with your movement on them, as you can find yourself falling down even though it looks as though you're right on the platform. Now we get our Dungeon 2 boss, Dodongo. Just the Dodongo. Dodongo is a very, 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 very simple and straightforward boss. He only has 2 attacks. There's the attack where he charges in a straight line at you, and then there's the attack where he opens up his mouth to charge up a fireball attack for a solid number of seconds, which is the perfect amount of time to just throw in a nice little bomb. And he gets all poofed up by the explosion, and then you throw him on the spikes. Why is Dodongo hanging out in a room full of spikes? Mind your own business. That's why. You know? You know? But Dragon picking up the Dungeon 2 Essence with a fairly quick Dungeon 2 time. And is now going to be making his way towards Dungeon 3. We will also see whether or not qdoe is going to be going for Heart Ring strat or if he goes ringless. I do not recall which route he prefers. Dragon making his way back to town. You're gonna see him go down to a screen that has an ember tree on it, but not actually go pick up the ember seeds. That is because it is activating the tree for a later seed that we get that allows us to warp to any tree that we've been to. All you need to do is go and see the tree to be able to warp to it later on. So he just gets that out of the way now, because this is the only other time that we really are coming through the town until after we get the Gale Seeds. What do we got here? So qdoe opting to go for the no ring strat as well. So both runners going ringless in this run, which is going to be interesting as far as late game goes. Not having any rings does make it a little bit dangerous, obviously. Heart Ring, the level 2 Heart Ring does restore a full heart after a certain amount of time. Every, like, I believe it's 10 seconds or like 16 steps or something like that. The Power Ring level 2 does make you take more damage, but it also makes you stronger, and it comes with a potion. A potion functions like fairies in a lot of other Zelda games, where if you run out of hearts, the potion will activate and bring you back to full health. So there is also a sort of safety mechanic in the Power Ring as well. No ring means no potion, no heart ring, no real health gain outside of heart drops and fairy spawns. So both of our owners are going to need to play it. Be a little bit careful, just to make sure they're not too ridiculous with their play here. Meanwhile, what you saw Dragon do, and what you are going to see qdoe do here right now, is fight a penguin to win a pair of boxing gloves to give to the kangaroo that Dragon is currently riding in. That kangaroo also gives you a flute, and that flute you can use to call the kangaroo so that you can ride in his pouch. That kangaroo's name is also Ricky. Ricky is the worst of the 3 animal companions that you can receive in the game. You can get Dimitri the Dodongo, who can swim and climb up waterfalls by doing Subrosian dancing 6 times. Or you can get Moosh, the best companion, the blue bear that can fly, by purchasing the flute for 150 rupees in the town shop. But unfortunately, Ricky is the fastest for the sake of the speedrun, because he's on the way that we need to be going, and so we have to pick him up. Part of the reason that he's so terrible is his hopping movement. So Ricky does the same distance hop every time he jumps, and he will only transition a screen if he's at the full edge of the screen. So if you're not at that exact edge, you will cause Ricky to do another full hop, which is just super slow. Luckily, we only see Ricky a total of 3 times in the run. That was the first. We're going to see the second coming up here shortly on Dragon's screen, and the third will be after Dungeon 3. And then we will never see Ricky again, which is great. That's what we want. Dragon changing it to winter so he can walk over the lake here, and also get access to a certain cave that we will need to get to pick up an item that we'll need to get to Dungeon 6 later on in the run. Boom. Dragon getting good luck with the cliff jump there with Ricky. It can be very difficult sometimes to get the right positioning on that. It's a little bit precise. Both runners are doing a ringless route. Neither runner is using any ring. So you saw there, Dragon pick up a square gem It's one of 4 gems that we'll be picking up, but it will not come into play until after Dungeon 5. And now, Dragon on his way to Subrosia. I did this late. Call it out now. There are 4 spots to get the ore. 1 through 4. What's it gonna be? What is it gonna be, chat? Coming up right now. Not first try. Second try. Second try. I didn't give you a lot of time. If you guessed second try, you were right. If not, you can start to guess for qdoe as well. But essentially, we need to dig up a star ore to take to the shop in order to pick up a ribbon that we can take to Rosa, the girl that we followed into Subrosia, so that she will go on a date with us. We give her the ribbon, and she says, "Oh, thanks. Let's go on a date to find the Temple of Summer." So now we get to go on a nice, hot little date with Rosa. Rosa's pretty cool because she has a key, a skeleton key that can open up any door. So she unlocks this little shortcut for us that we're going to use later on in the run as well. And because the door to Summer is locked, she will allow us entry into the Tower of Summer. And we thank her by showing off our impressive strength by equipping our power croissant and lifting up some heavy rocks, showing our sheer physical prowess right here, right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Beautiful. qdoe, I believe, got a very early seed, or a very early Star Ore. I believe it was first try, because he had his seed for a long time. Dragon picking up Summer, doing a save and quit, and is going to start heading out of Subrosia. Summer, it dries up lakes and creates vines. So we're going to need to climb up a vine in order to get into Dungeon 3. And, of course, we end our date with Rosa in the most romantic way possible, which is to just leave her by the side of the road, of the portal, rather, as we leave forever and never see her again, because that's, you know, it's what Link does. Link's got things to do. And I'm sure that this won't come to bite Link in the rear later on. Come back to Ricky and make our way towards Dungeon 3, as qdoe is now picking up Summer. Oh, Dragon getting good tech spawns in the lake here, not having to worry about slashing his sword, which means that his seed should last a little bit longer. Save a little bit of time there. And now that it's summer, Dragon can get into Dungeon 3, the Poison Moth's lair, where he can find the second best item in the game. But first, he has to do some shoveling on some beetles. Casually, you're expected to have purchased the shield for 30 rupees at the shop in town, and then you can bump them with your shield, but you can just spam the shovel, and the shovel acts as a flipping mechanism for the beetles, allowing you to flip them over and kill them real quick. Dragon now going for a floor master manipulation in this room, where he is trying to make sure, unfortunately failing, but the goal here, and getting caught by a hand, that is a unfortunate time loss and seed loss for Dragon, and will provide qdoe with some good space to catch up. It also means that Dragon's seed count is lower than he would like, and he's going to need to conserve his seeds and not use them, or either use his seeds now and not use them later, or he used one, so he's gonna have to skip a seed use later on. But the floor masters, they will spawn in the direction that your D-pad is being pushed at the time that they're supposed to spawn. So it's not necessarily the way that Link is facing, because if you're facing down but pushing right on your D-pad, you can spawn them to the right. So by doing that correctly and optimally, you can make it so that you don't have to pull out any sort of sword to damage them and kill them. Dragon does get it successfully on his second way through. Unfortunately, he started out getting grabbed by them, which is an obvious time loss. As qdoe is now probably going to try his own hand manipulation here as well. We'll see if he's successful with it. That would be a no. He's going to pull out his sword and going to want to make sure that he does not get grabbed. Interesting double menu there. Was trying to avoid taking off the seeds, but had to do the extras menu anyways. As Dragon enters into the mimic room, that he has to just kill these mimics with 3 sword slashes and pick up the dungeon item. There it is, our Rock's Feather. Rock's Feather is the second best item in the game. It is upped only by the item that we're going to get from Dungeon 7. Hoo hoo hoo. Foreshadowing. Bit of a preview there. But Rock's Feather obviously allows Link to jump. And in combination with our Pegasus Seeds is going to allow us to do a number of nice little, tricky little jumps here. Dragon's going to go for one right now. Dragon unfortunately failing that. There's a 1-frame window on that swamp where you can jump off of it again and keep your momentum and height and skip over having to wait for the swamp to come back up. Unfortunately, missed by Dragon in that situation. But he makes it through safe and sound. qdoe making his way to get his Rock's Feather right now. Come on. As Dragon has the joyous task of pushing a trampoline. What everyone loves to do with their free time. We'll see if qdoe is going to go for the side-scroller speed strats. Ooh. Dragon unfortunately taking a fall there. Opting to save his seed for... save his seed. You can use another Pegasus seed here to get past quite quickly. But because Dragon got caught, he had to use the seed earlier, and he opted to save the seed on this area. Unfortunately, he did take a couple of falls, which is a pretty significant time loss, and gives qdoe a pretty decent window to catch up. They're now only a side-scroller or so apart. Dragon going through Hands room again, not getting the manipulation, not sure if he was trying to go for manipulation there or just play it safe. Actually getting a pretty clean hands room, all things considered. A sort of pseudo manipulation outside of the first hand there. As he's going to make his way to the Dungeon 2 mini-boss, who is Amuai. And Amuai is a series of 3 little squids. 3 little squids, and Link is a kid. Put those together, and what do you get? Think about it. Just think about it. I'm not going to put the dots together for you. Connect the dots for you, rather. Amuai is a pretty straightforward fight. You just pick him up out of the water and slash at him 4 times. He can be a little bit tricky if you don't know the timing on the bounces. You can end up losing some. qdoe not having any luck with the second hand manip. Unfortunately, playing a very, very safe. No, unfortunately pushing the pot into the corner, meaning he has to reset the room, as there's no way for him to activate the button anymore. As Dragon picks up the boss key and save and quits to make his way towards Mothula. Okay, gets through that second time. Luckily, the floor masters don't respawn after you kill them, so he's okay on the second way through. And Dragon now is going to enter into Mothula's lair. This is the poison moth. Mothula is, again, you know, a pretty straightforward boss. She just circles around and then occasionally will return back to the middle to spawn some fireballs and some more baby Mothulas. as long as you're not being too brazen with your placements, you should be fine. You do run the risk of getting pushed down into the pit if you're too close or get hit accidentally. And if you get pushed down into the pit, you have to restart the fight, and she gets back to full health. So that's a pretty significant time loss if it does happen. But Dragon has no issues at all, as he is able to clean up there and get out of Dungeon 3. Getting out of Dungeon 3, he's going to head towards Dungeon 4 now. He's going to pick up a refill on his Pegasus seeds on his way out, which is nice and convenient, as the only time we really stop by to pick up Pegasus seeds is going to be after our dungeons. So we make a stop after every dungeon except for Dungeon 7. So we need to use our seeds wisely in combination with having a knowledge of where specific seed drops are that are guaranteed. Dragon making his way to the final area of Ricky, the Natsu region. This region changes its terrain based on which of the animal companions that you got. So with Ricky, you see a lot of these high cliffs and small number of holes because Ricky can jump off cliffs. If you get Dimitri, who can swim, this entire area is water. And if you pick up Moosh, then you end up with a sort of long series of holes that Moosh can just fly over. Dragon here is looking for a Pegasus seed drop. He did get a Sense seed drop, which makes the Dungeon 4 fight a little bit safer, having the extra 2 seeds there. But looks like he doesn't have too many more options to get a Pegasus seed drop, which is always a little bit unfortunate. And does not get one. So Dragon does not get the refill before getting into Sunken City. As he's now going to go to the Gale tree and pick up some Gale seeds. Gale seeds are our teleportation seeds. They will allow us to revisit any tree that we've already been to. Which is going to be useful after every dungeon, essentially, because we'll be able to warp to the Pegasus tree, pick up some seeds, and then warp to where we need to go. And we see Dragon picking up Dimitri here, who is being bullied by a bunch of kids, and the only way for those kids to go away is to give them some bombs. qdoe getting the Pegasus seed drop. So he has the extra seeds here. We'll see how he makes use of them. But that is a good sort of time save that he has over Dragon right now. Dragon picking up the Master's Plaque, and it's going to go over to the Master Diver, where he can pick up the flippers and can learn how to not get his shoes wet while he's swimming. Because I said this before, I've said this many times, every time I do this. Link doesn't need flippers to swim. No one needs flippers to swim. It's not necessary. It's not required. Link really likes his shoes, and he doesn't want his shoes wet. So he gets some flippers. Some airtight flippers, seal around the ankles, makes so his shoes stay nice and fresh. That way he can go underwater. That's the only reasonable explanation. He's a sneakerhead. He's just really into shoes. Keeping him safe. But now, coming through on the other side, Dragon emerges out, climbs up the vines, and is going to be making another trip to Sabrosia because he needs to pick up the 3rd season Spring. But before we can pick up Spring, we get into a bit of an altercation here. These red and blues, they come up, they bump into us, they knock our feather out, and they give us this green ore chunk. This green ore chunk happens to be the strongest weapon in the game, as it is in fact stronger than the level 2 sword. However, we can't jump. So it's a bit of an issue. So we just need to follow here and play through this hide and seek. This hide and seek area is incredibly monotonous and slow, as there's only one pattern that each of these two dudes go through. Dragon playing the risky game of digging, picking up the fire Podoboo tower, and not getting caught or hurt too much as a result, but that's one of the risks of digging. Doesn't mean he's gonna stop. He's gonna keep going strong and hope for the best. qdoe making his way into Subrosia now. My headcanon for these two, I have my flippers reasoning, but these two, I believe they're here because of Rosa. I think that Rosa knew that you were going to go into Dungeon 3, and she knew that the dungeon item for Dungeon 3 was the feather. So she hires these dudes, these thugs, to teach you a lesson because you ditched her at the end of your date. That's it. That's it. Just teaching you a lesson for being a jerk to her. But now, he gets his feather back after the thugs have felt like they've taught you your lesson adequately. And you can now leave and head on over to pick up Spring. You're gonna see Dragon do right now. Dragon going for the speed seeds down here, even though he didn't get the seed drop. There's a jump using the seeds on the way back that can be very, very difficult. Relatively precise to get. So we'll see if he gets the good execution on that side scroller. Here we go. Ooh, unfortunately falling off. You only have one opportunity to get that jump. It's a very, very tight jump. Not getting it there, which is unfortunate, but not the worst time loss in the world. As he now makes his way out of Subrosia and heads on with the newly found Spring to progress forward. Spring does a couple of things. Mostly, all the things it does are related to flowers. It blooms a bunch of different types of flowers. Flowers that you can cut, as well as the blast blooms, which are the flowers that you can step into and they shoot you up into the air. Which we're going to see shortly here. Ooh. Go playing it safe. qdoe opting... Oh, we'll see here what qdoe play is. qdoe not using the speed seeds down in the underground. Not going for the precise jump there. There's a precise jump there so that you can make that cycle as the platform's going up. qdoe decides to play it safe. Dragon, meanwhile, on the best companion in the game, the bear in blue. Big Mushy Moosh. Big Mushy Moosh. Moosh is blue. Moosh can butt stomp. Moosh has wings. He can hover. Everything about Moosh is great. He's the best companion. Team Moosh, best team. If you have a different opinion, that's fine, but you're also wrong. qdoe not using the speed seed on the way back either. Dragon, I'm assuming, got a bomb drop as he ignored a bomb drop that got that dropped earlier on. Although I guess I'll see right here when I look at his menu. Yeah, he got a number of bomb drops. Wow. So he picked up the Dungeon 4 key with Moosh. Unfortunately, that's the last we get to see of Moosh during the run. As Dragon's now going to make his way to the top of this waterfall so that he can shut the power off. which can be done in the most obvious way of putting a key into a rock. Dragon playing a joke on me there as he decides to drop very low with the cuckoo there. If you drop too low, the cuckoo will just drop you down and you have to climb back up. But you put the key into the rock and the waterfall stops because it's Zelda logic. But now, using the vines, Link can get inside, and Dragon has entered into the Dancing Dragon Dungeon. The Dancing Dragon Dungeon is, in my opinion, the most difficult dungeon in the game by a pretty fair margin. Mostly due to where it is in the run, as you're not terribly decked out with hearts quite yet. And there's a lot of incremental damage that you can end up taking pretty often, just thanks to primarily Keese, but a number of other enemies as well. And also this room right here is garbage, because you just push pots. And it doesn't matter if you do this frame perfect every time. It feels slow. Picking up a key and then heading forward. Gonna hope that the Zols don't give him too much trouble here in Dungeon 4. Or in this room, rather. Gain decent Zol spawns, not having to worry about it. As he makes his way now down the stairs. And he's gonna be shortly heading into a side-scroller. I believe he will be going for the quick strat, because he's Dragon. Hopefully the keys are kind to him. Good key spawns. If you pause buffer as you enter into the side-scroller, and to any side-scroller with moving platforms, it gives you an extra amount of time to complete. Like, it takes an extra second or so for the cycle to start for the moving platform, which gives you enough time to safely jump over that first rising platform. You do the same thing in Dungeon 2, or Dungeon 3 rather, on your way back to the side-scroller, but just the pausing in the side-scroller extends the first cycle of moving platforms in a way that is beneficial to the runners. qdoe here, entering into the pot room. Also got a bomb drop, so he did not have to pick up the chest as he entered in. Alright. Because Dragon did not get the seed drop in the Natsu region with Ricky, he does not use a seed there, just saving it instead for this area where he knows that he's going to be getting guaranteed seed drops from the pots that are coming up here. 2 seed drops, nice and easy, and you can continue forward. And these 10 seeds that you get in total, but the 10 seeds that you get are enough for you to get through Dungeon 4 and get back to and then warp back to the Pegasus tree after the dungeon and refill. But Dragon is now going to enter into the Dungeon 4 mini-boss, Gunima. Name might sound a little bit familiar. The aesthetic might seem a little bit familiar. But the boss fights is significantly easier than the one in Link to the Past, and just simple. You light the torches, and when you light the torches, a shadow will appear underneath the real version of a Gunima. And you can just slash your sword or do a spin slash to do damage rather than having to hit any sort of orb back at him. Just makes the fight a little bit quicker. Just three spin slashes and a regular slash if you don't have the power ring to get it done nice and quickly. Dragon now going to get the Dungeon 4 item, which is the slingshot. Gonna be picking that up just momentarily here. Slingshot allows us to sling our seeds quite far, quite far. We're gonna be using it a couple times here and throughout the rest of the run. And we're gonna need it for this boss as well. Oh. Good movement. Okay. It is possible to accidentally do a save and quit before the chest spawns after you light the torches, which is a pretty significant, I mean, it's a run killing time loss, really. Because the minecart will not be where you need it to be, so you need to go the long way around. Dragon going for the boss key here. Gonna go for the jump. Gain it first try, easy. Item switch buffer. And getting the boss key and doing a save and quit. Quick, simple, efficient. He's gonna go pick up that chest now that has the small key in it. And this will be the last key that he needs to pick up. After this is a straight shot to the Dungeon 4 boss. There are, I mean, there's one jump that is coming up here before the boss that can be a little bit tricky. We'll see which style. Ooh, Dragon accidentally locking the blade trap there. As he gets into Agunima, or as qdoe gets into Agunima. Dragon not quite able to get the 2 cycle. Gonna get to the 3 cycle on these red whiz robes. As he now makes his way to the jump. He's just gonna go for it. Unfortunately, not quite making it. We'll see whether or not he just goes for it again. Gets it second try. Okay. So there are a couple of different setups for that jump. There's a couple of different ways to get across. I mean, there's the various different kinds of jumps you can do, and then you can also just light the torches to spawn the bridge. Okay. Okay. Obviously, lighting the bridge is slower. You can do a straight jump to get straight across like Dragon did. You can do a buffer jump where you go up. It's a little bit slower, but safer, and then you can do a damage boost off the whiz robes. Dragon's entered into a Gunima on half a heart, which means if he gets grabbed or hit, he will die, but he is absolutely fine. Gets a very clean Goma fight with no issue. And all is well. Goma, you're expected to cut off the claw and hit her afterwards, but if you align yourself properly, with her, you can get hits in on her eye without having to cut off her claw. An optimal fight would require, like if you were going for pure TAS optimal strats, you would cut off the claw. The problem with that is that Goma's RNG goes out of control after you cut it off. So she's a lot more likely to move horizontally and also close her eye for an extended period of time. And she spawns little minions that are a pain to deal with. Dragon picking up the second gem of 4 that he's going to need for later on. qdoe getting the jump as well, easy. First try. Doesn't even stop to do an item switch buffer. Very nice. Dragon picking up Gale Seeds because I think he used too many. Playing it safe, doesn't want to run out at an inopportune spot. As he's going to make his way towards Dungeon 5 now. But before we can get into Dungeon 5, we need to go back to Subrosia and pick up our last season. We got one more season in Subrosia, which is Autumn. And to get Autumn, we need to blow up some rocks. Unfortunately, our typical everyday bomb is not enough to blow up the rock. We need a bigger bomb, a better bomb, a bomb that grows from the ground. It is, of course. Ooh, qdoe getting the jump. The bomb flower. This is the bomb flower. It's a much more powerful version of the bomb. We just pick it up to take to Autumn. Yeah. As qdoe's now entering into the Goma fight, we'll see how he does on Goma. If he can get a clean fight as well. Oh, gain a side to side from Goma, not ideal. Oh, gain another side to side again. Just unfortunate RNG here for qdoe. Getting grabbed as well. Okay. Slightly messier fight, just with some unlucky RNG for the Goma. She was moving side to side a lot and had a couple of eye closes that were unfortunate, but staying alive, getting the kill, continuing forward. Dragon has picked up Autumn at this point, which is going to be used to... Autumn both ripens mushrooms that allow you to then pick them up and throw them, and also it covers holes with leaves so that you can walk over them. It is the closest to RTA pit walking that anyone's ever going to get. So, you know. That's all. That's it. That's all you get. Sorry. Dragon now making his way to Dungeon 5 now that he has Autumn. Luckily, it's nearby once we get out of the portal. We just need to go up a couple screens. And we're going to change the season to fall. Our newly found season. So that we can get into Dungeon 5. We got to throw some mushrooms. We have to throw some mushrooms. The way that mushrooms work is a little bit strange in that you can't pick up a second mushroom until the first mushroom despawns. So typically runners try to throw the mushroom off screen so they can immediately pick up a second mushroom. Dragon threw the mushroom up instead of off the screen, so he had to wait a little bit longer. Dungeon 5. Dungeon 5 is the Unicorn's Cave, which is, doesn't really make sense as far as names go because there's no unicorns here. Just a bunch of other stuff. So a bit of a misnomer there, a bit of misleading name. But alas, we'll push through. We'll handle this despair with class. Dungeon 5 is a fairly easy dungeon. It's probably the easiest of the latter half dungeons, which I guess you would expect since it's 5th. But it's a lot of just wrapping around. The dungeon itself is pretty small, or the area of the dungeon that we get to is rather small. You'll see the runners going through the same screens a lot. It also has the most save and quits of any dungeon. So you'll see a lot of save and quits as well. But Dragon just picked up the dungeon item, the Magnet Glove, which we can use in combination with both our Pegasus Seeds and our Feather to do a number of cool jumps and push some magnet balls. Oh, Dragon taking, I want to say 2.5 hearts of damage there from the keys, which is not ideal. Getting a seed drop though. Seed drop is very nice. Means that, I mean, he could use a seed right now, opting not to. A little bit of a rough Moldorm and Helmasaur room there, as he comes into the Armos room. The Armos room, okay, decides to reset. So the Armos room is a little bit complicated because you need to once you kill all these Armos, 4 chests will spawn. You need to open the chests in the same order that you killed the Armos. If you mess up the order that you kill them in, you will spawn a bunch of anti-fairies and have to reset the room. Luckily, Dragon decided just to reset and get back in there. Had a clean the second time and was fine. Dragon also using his extra seeds here to make up a little bit of time. Use the seed drop to his advantage as much as possible. Also, maybe taking a little bit of extra time to kill some enemies here in order to try and make sure that he gets some heart drops as he's running a little bit low and he has no real way of regaining health at this point. qdoe taking a slightly different route through Dungeon 5, opting to do this Dark Nut and block push first. I think it's a little bit slower due to an extra menu or two, but outside of that, there's no real time difference. It's just the extra menus that you get from doing it that way. I believe. Dragon now going to pick up the last small key of the dungeon before heading into the Dungeon 5 mini-boss. The Dungeon 5 mini-boss is Saiger. He's half Sabretooth, half tiger. Wait, that's not right. He is a sort of Sabretooth tiger that you're going to see with... see if you can spot the weak point on the mini-boss. See if you can figure out what part of the mini-boss you have to hit if you've never played the game before. You have... Oh... You think? Did you get it? Did you catch that? Did you see it? Dragon not getting the 3 cycle. If he had a couple more hearts, he probably would have gone for it. You can, Saiger, when you hit him, when you run into him, when you take damage from him, he takes a little bit longer to go into his next attack phase. So if you get a spin slash and damage yourself, you have enough time to get another sword slash in to do more damage, which can cut a cycle off of the fight. But because Dragon was low on health, he opted to play it safe. Dragon picking up the boss key, doing a save and quit, and then is going to head straight on to our Dungeon 5 boss. Not sure exactly. qdoe trying to go for a very precise looking jump for the swag. Doesn't get it, so he decides to go around. Not sure if that's worth going for necessarily. Dragon taking a fall in the meantime on his way to the boss. Ooh. Oh, and taking a fall. Do the keys as well. Taking a couple of falls here. Decides to stick with it though, and goes for a nice little jump there. You can just do that jump with the Magna Glove. It is a bit of a time save, but it's also risky, so runners typically don't go for the dragon strat there. They go for the more traditional strat. That I believe qdoe might be going for the more traditional strat. Dragon gained a very, very quick dig dogger before I even had a chance to explain the fight. You hit him with the ball 4 times, then he splits into a bunch of mini dig doggers that you then crush with the ball. That was very, very quick and clean. Yeah, not much else you can say about that. Good control of the spiked ball. And it paid off. He's now going to start heading towards Dungeon 6. But before he does that, he needs to pick up the final 2 gems that he needs. We picked up the first 2 after Dungeon 2 and after Dungeon 4. Now, those are finally going to come into play at this point. Just needs to pick up 2 more gems. The first one is going to be right here with this old man who's just hanging out. He won't give you a gem until you have the Dungeon 4 and Dungeon 5 essence. So unfortunately, no way to get that early. If we could get that early, there is a way, or we would be able to skip out on the end of Dungeon 4. We would be able to leave Dungeon 4 as soon as we got the slingshot. But you're seeing qdoe, meanwhile, doing the little bit of a damage boost, or damage tanking there to get the quick cycle, 3 cycle on Saiger. Very nice. Dragon getting very unlucky with this mystery seed on the torch there. So typically you could light the torch with an ember seed, but because the mystery seed has a chance, it has a 1 in 4 chance on which other seed effect it does. We save the menu there by just equipping the mystery seed and hoping that we get a good ember. Unfortunately, Dragon did not get lucky with his ember seed, which is slow. qdoe picking up the boss key as Dragon puts in his 4 gems. Do you see the gems? Do you see what they represent? Do you know what that means? It means seasons. On PlayStation 4. Confirmed next year. Definitely true. And in no way am I making that up at all. I'm lying to you, chat. There's no season. I'm sorry. It was rude. I apologize. It was just, you know. Dragon now in the Tarm Ruins, making his way into the Lost Woods shortly here, where he's going to pick up the level 2 sword and make his way to Dungeon 6. One of the big differences here between ages and seasons is that in ages, you are required to do the entire trade sequence in order to pick up the level 2 sword. This, unfortunately, is quite slow, so the ages speedrunners cannot get the level 2 sword. However, in seasons, the trade sequence only gives you the code for the level 2 sword. So if you just know the code, you can skip the entire trade sequence, which is what we're doing here. qdoe getting the 1 cycle on Digdogger, nice. It was a little bit slow on the first part of Digdogger, the big Digdogger hits. But yeah. Dragon picking up the sword. The code for the Lost Woods to get to the Noble Sword is your seasons are going from coldest to warmest. So winter, fall, spring, summer. And then you go left after each swing. So winter left, fall left, spring left, summer left. And then to get to Dungeon 6, it's still coldest to warmest, but instead of going left every time, you go left, down, right, up. So you go counterclockwise with each swing. And after that, you are granted entrance towards Dungeon 6. Fun fact, chat, on this next screen that you're about to see, not this one, but the one that he's going to shovel on, tell me if you can figure out how to get past this screen without the shovel. Let's say you didn't have a shovel. How would you get past this screen? You have a short minute of time. Figure it out. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Tell me. Type it in chat. Let me know how you would do it without the shovel. Dragon not getting trolled by the ball and chain trooper. That ball and chain trooper can spawn right on top of the flower and ruin everything. Ooh. I'm afraid the correct answer is in fact to burn the trees. The flute, although a good idea, the flutes do not work in that area. So you cannot flute in an animal. You would have to use ember seeds to burn the trees. But I like the idea. I like the thinking. So now Dragon is in the Ancient Ruins, the 6th dungeon. The Ancient Ruins is a series of trapped rooms that look identical to rooms that you need to be in, but are fake. We won't see a lot of those fake rooms because this is a speedrun, but if you're playing through casually, you could get yourself confused and lost by ending up in rooms that look like rooms you've already been into, and just can be a mess. Dragon gained a very clean magnet ball key here, as he does the save and quit, and he's gonna head on through. As qdoe's making his way through up to the Lost Woods right now, and is gonna grab the level 2 sword shortly here. This jump that Dragon just did is not intended. It's a rather tight jump that you can very easily mess up if you're not careful. But it saves you pushing a button and just some general time save overall. Bada bing, bada boom. Pushing a trampoline. Sometimes you gotta push a trampoline. There's a lot of trampoline pushing in this dungeon in particular. It's very strange to me. And Dragon's now. He's gonna pick up the Dungeon 6 item. It's a boomerang that you can control with your mind. And also the D-pad. Maybe mostly the D-pad. Okay, it's definitely just the D-pad. You can't control it with your mind. But it's still cool because it kills these Armos. These Armos are impervious to your sword, but do take damage from the magic boomerang because it's magical, I guess. And despite the fact that it's a noble sword, it can't cut through the Armos. So hey, what you gonna do? Dragon having some trouble there with the magnet ball. But now, boomerang is going to be used a number of times throughout the rest of the run, or the rest of the run and the rest of this dungeon is going to be used to hit a couple of switches that are weirdly angled away, and also for the Dungeon 6 boss. Dungeon 6 boss is a real pain. As much as I love Dungeon 6, I think it's really well designed. The mini boss and boss of Dungeon 6 make it not fun. Also, you know, keys. Keys are garbage. Absolute garbage. Ooh. Meanwhile, Dragon now gonna light these torches here. Fun fact about these torches, you don't actually need the slingshot in order to hit them. If you get to the edge of the moving platform and have the seed pouch, you can light the torches with the seed pouch. You shouldn't do it. It's slow, but you can. And that's what matters. It's just knowing that you can do it. You have the option to do it. All this variety. What a beautiful thing. qdoe low on hearts, so he decides to go pick them up. Interesting strategy. There's also the possibility, if he was able to make it to the magnet ball key and he had low hearts, he could have opted to do a death warp there, but I guess it ends up being the same, and this is probably fast. I mean, it's definitely faster. Ever so slightly. Dragon now making his way into the mini boss room shortly here. The mini boss for Dungeon 6. If you've played Ages, if you've played LADX, if you've played Zelda 1, you are familiar with it. It's Vyre, the impish little brat who has 3 attack patterns. A charging move like the one you just saw. A circling move where, like the one you're looking at right now, where he circles around. You can still hit him if he does this. It's just a little bit tricky to get. And then a move where he pops up in the corner of the room and shoots a fireball. If he does that move, you're not going to be able to hit him. Dragon getting a very decent Vyre, gets a 4 cycle. Not bad. Or no, a 5 cycle rather. Not too bad. Not a perfect Vyre, but not much else you can expect. And getting the first try button that button that Dragon just stepped on is a 50-50 chance with the other button. And if you get the wrong button, you have to leave the room and come back in. And it could be wrong again. So you have to just keep doing it over and over again. I think the record, as far as I'm aware, the record is 16 attempts for that button. Or not 16, 18 attempts for the button. 18 attempts to get the stairs to spawn. That is ridiculously unlucky in every way possible. But Dragon, being the lucky boy that he is, gets first try and is going to make his way to the boss. Pulling out the sword here because he was too low on hearts, getting the fairy that's there every time as he gets into Manhandla, and we'll see how this Manhandla goes. Gets a double hit. So the way that Manhandla works is you need to hit each of the mouths 3 times while the mouths are open. The caveat is that Manhandla will not open the head that is in line with Link. So you have to wrap the boomerang around in order to do damage. This, in combination with the fact that Manhandla moves a lot, makes the fight very difficult. Not as, I mean, it makes it very difficult to get a very good Manhandla. Dragon having a relatively clean Manhandla overall. So that's good for him, a good look for him. As he's going to make his way out of Dungeon 6 and head towards Dungeon 7. But first, before we get to Dungeon 7, we're going to need to make a little bit of a detour, as we do after every dungeon. This detour comes with what many people claim is the best music, or at least close to the best music in the game. We will see whether or not. It's debatable. It's debatable. People like it. Dragon trying to go for a boomerang clip here. Not getting it as he messed up his position. Using a seed there. I'm intrigued by that seed usage. I'm not familiar with that seed either. Okay. A lot of seeds being used here. Huh. I guess that Dragon's going to be making a trip to the Pegasus tree. Potentially after getting the bell here. But regardless, so Dragon went to talk to the pirate captain to set sail on his boat, because we need to take his boat to get to Dungeon 7. However, the pirate captain can't set sail. Why? Because he doesn't have his trusty bell. He needs his trusty bell if he wants to set sail, because every good captain has a trusty bell. So we find out that the bell is somewhere in the desert after the last shipwreck, and we agree to go pick it up for him and return it so that we can set sail with these skeletal pirates. The bell can be in one of 4 locations. He did not get first try. He did not get second try. He got third try. Third try bell. Much better than fourth try bell. Still not great overall. As qdoe having some fun with Vire there. Getting a poke, but not a slash. Okay, interesting tech from Dragon here. I've not seen before. Where he decided to just go all out on using seeds everywhere and then makes an extra warp to the Pegasus tree. I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's faster than being more frugal with your Pegasus seeds, but it is interesting, to say the least. Dragon entering into Subrosia to fix the trusty bell, because it's not a trusty bell right now. It's a rusty bell, and rusty bells are garbage. We don't care about rusty bells. We only care about trusty bells. So we need to fix it up. How do we fix it up? We take it to a blacksmith. And we take it to a blacksmith that doesn't care about niceties. This blacksmith doesn't want you to be nice to them. This blacksmith wants you to be serious, straightforward, to the point, curt, tell him what to do. You do that, he gives you the bell, and you're on your way. So Dragon's gonna have a lot of seeds for Dungeon 7. qdoe not able to get the triple hit on the witches, unfortunately. As Dragon makes his way back to the pirate with the bell properly restored. And he can now be on his way. qdoe on Manhandla right now, doing all right with Manhandla. Ideally, you would like to try and get all the heads down at the same time, because with every head that gets destroyed, Manhandla starts to move faster and more erratically. So the closer you can get to getting all heads dead at the same time, that was very nice at the end there for qdoe, getting both those heads at the same time. See the pirate cutscene right here, setting sail. We can see if we can there we go. That pirate cutscene audio. As we find out that these pirates have not set sail for a long time. So long that they've lost their sea legs. Which is unfortunate. It makes them all seasick. So they have to dock immediately after taking off. Luckily for us, they happen to dock in the exact spot that we need them to be for us to get to Dungeon 7. Well, it all works out in the end. Ooh, Dragon using the seed. I mean, he has extra seed. Fine, use a seed there. As he's gonna make his way into the crypt, into Dungeon 7. Dungeon 7 is by far my favorite dungeon. Not least in part because it contains the best item in the game, if you recall from what I said earlier on in the run. It's great. Dungeon 7, I like the Dungeon 7 music. I like the Dungeon 7 jumps. I like the Dungeon 7 item. I like everything about Dungeon 7. Except for... What? Dragon, please. Except for one particular set of enemies that you'll see shortly here. Dragon not quite able to get a 2-cycle on the Wizrobes. Use a seat here. Alright, so Dungeon 7 has the first real skip of the game called post skip. Those torches that you're watching them as they start to go out. If all 4 torches go out, you get sent back to the start of the dungeon. Typically, you would want to kill the Poe sister, kill a Poe sister, in order to make sure that the torches stay lit. But it's actually possible to make a jump there that you saw Dragon just do, where you're able to just barely get by the torches before all 4 go out and send you back. It saves us a key and just a bunch of time overall. Cool. Dragon unfortunately pushing the Armos into the wall, which means he needs to reset the room. Very unfortunate luck, or control flub there. Getting the Pegasus Seed drop. As he's going to make his way to pick up 2 more small keys. And he's going to go for the jump too. And he gets the jump. That's a somewhat precise jump. Not only because of the position that Link needs to be in, but also because you're on a timer as a result of that platform wanting to start to move back as soon as possible. However, he does mess up the button puzzle there, so he has to reset it. And we got a couple of dumb jumps here that are a little bit... can be a little bit tricky. Bamboo gets it with no problem. But those are probably the worst jumps in the dungeon. By a pretty fair margin. Picking up one more little small key here. Oh. Missing the button just barely. Before he has to do this Armos puzzle one more time, and then go to kill the secondary Poe sister. So the reason we have to kill this Poe sister is that there is a room 2 screens over to the left filled with water where the torches will also start to go out. However, unlike the first torch situation where you can just barely make it to the staircase, in this room coming up, there's no feasible way to get to the end before the torches go out. So you have to kill the Poe sister to make sure that you can make it through. But Dragon's quickly approaching the dungeon item. Gonna do a nice little buffer jump here with the magnet glove, where if you buffer out a jump out of the magnet glove, you can just jump off of thin air. Again, Zelda logic. You know, you just gotta accept it sometimes. Dragon getting super close there on the edge. I don't think he needed to be that precise. There's a bit of leniency with how close you need to be. But still gets it first try. No problem. And picks up the best item in the game. The best item in maybe any 2D Zelda game. The Rock's Cape. The big sibling to the Rock's Feather. It gives Link a double jump and allows him to glide. Do I need to say more about why this is a great item? Do you understand, chat? Do you understand what's going on here? Why this is awesome? It's great. Doesn't fall into the hole, which is good. Is gonna fall in the hole there. And now I'm gonna fight the mini-boss of the dungeon, who are the 2 Poe sisters that you're supposed to face off earlier on. They come back together in full force. And following in with the theme of this dungeon the whole way through. If all 4 of the torches go out, you get sent back to the start of the dungeon. Which is obviously pretty terrible, considering that, you know, the mini-boss is very much near the end of the dungeon. And you'd have to do post-skip again if you failed it. Dragon making his way to the big key, the boss key. Nice button jumps there. Quick and easy. Using the cape extension there to extend the Pegasus Seed value, that Pegasus Seed was going to run out. So by doing a cape jump, he keeps the momentum from the Pegasus Seed even after the seed runs out for a little bit longer. just to get to the button. Unfortunately, oh no! He misses the button. Misses the button there. So he's gonna have to redo... Not redo the puzzle, but hit the switch again. Make it to the Stalfos room. Alright. Getting the kills on the Stalfos. Getting the boss key and resetting. qdoe getting first try HSS skip. Very good on his part. Not going to take any significant time loss there. And can potentially just gain on Dragon here in general. Due to some of the... So... Dragon missed the fairies, and unfortunately, the fairies, though they're guaranteed spawns, if you don't pick them up and then reset, they don't like respawn there. So this is Gleeok. Gleeok is the Dungeon 7 boss. You may be familiar with him from Zelda 1. So Dragon had to play that fight super carefully because he didn't want to take any unnecessary damage. Typically, you can just bulldoze your way through, tank the damage, and get quicker kills, but he was only at less than 2 hearts, so he decided to play it safe. Getting the kill, not taking any damage at all. Very, very good awareness of the situation on his part, and accounting for the fact that he was low on health. Picking up the Seeds of Life, the 7th essence, and is now going to make his way to the final to Dungeon 8, where we're going to witness a very, very fun trick. qdoe making the same slight technical error that Dragon did there with that Magna Ball. qdoe getting a little bit unlucky with his Armos placements as well, as Dragon makes his way over towards Dungeon 8. But you would find out that Dungeon 8 is currently blocked by a thick forest of trees that are just sort of in the way. Much thicker than you'd be able to reduce with the power of winter. So instead of, you know, finding a subtle way to get into Dungeon 8, you do the obvious thing, which is a little bit of wanton destruction. But first we need to go to Sabrosia, and we're gonna just go to a room with this nice little guy here. And by throwing the bomb in, what happens? What do you think would happen if you threw a bomb into an active volcano? Well, if you guessed rain destruction on the overworld, destroying the land, killing innocent wildlife and potentially people, and also revealing the entrance to Dungeon 8, you'd be correct. You'd be correct. That would be the accurate statement. You see, sometimes in life, you have to make small messes to clean up big messes. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, destroying the world, the overland, seems like, you know, a big mess. And I see what you're saying, but consider this. Link's gotta save the girl. Also, Link's the hero, so clearly whatever he does is absolutely fine and can't be bad. You know? qdoe trying to go for a bufferless, no setup trick there, or setup jump there for the Rockscape, not paying off for him. Meanwhile, Dragon on his way to Dungeon 8. qdoe opting to go the slower route. Playing it safe. And picks up the Rockscape as well. Dragon now entering into Subrosia for the final time because Dungeon 8 is the only dungeon that is not in the overworld. It is in Subrosia, which is why typically after every dungeon, the Maku tree tells you where to go next. After Dungeon 7, the Maku tree is confused because the dungeon, the essence is not in the overworld, it's in fact in the underworld of Subrosia. Dungeon 8, Dungeon 8, Dungeon 8. Alright, chat, here's the deal. There is a trick in Dungeon 8. It is a double frame perfect bomb boosted cape jump. It saves 4.5 to 5 minutes on the intended route in the run. Buffering in this game is not like in LADX. There is no frame perfect advancing for buffering. So the buffering in the Oracle games suck. All of those combined gives you HSS skip, which is a mess. Just a big, huge mess. It involves falling into a pit because you need to reset your subpixel. A subpixel, for a very layman's terminology, is like there are two sort of grids, quote grids, that Link can be on, and you have to be on the correct one in order to get the jump. So you fall into the hole and push in order to put yourself on the correct grid. Whereas just pixel movement is what Link's is stepping on. And subpixels are kind of what steps Link can step on, or what tiles Link can step on. So you have to, oh. Let's see. That's too late. So, as I said before, the trick is double frame perfect, which means Link needs to jump off of the ice on the very last frame that Link's foot is touching the ice, and then he needs to extend the cape on the first frame that the bomb explosion goes from those two, like those circles, to that comic book POW symbol. You make the jump easier by doing the buffering. However, it's still a 60 FPS game, and the buffering is not great, so it's a very difficult trick to get. I mean, I would argue that the comic book POW symbol is an accurate description of what you're looking for there. Dragon having some trouble here. This part of the run I've been dubbing the great equalizer of the tournament thus far, as a number of races have been won and lost thanks to HSS skip. Getting the first jump. He should be okay. Yep, finally getting it. I believe that was 6th try, given his bomb count. 6th try HSS skip. Not terrible. Not terrible. Very, I mean, it's honestly, it's very, very good. For, especially for a tournament setting. Falling in the hole, though, afterwards. So, what does HSS skip, chat? I know you're wondering. I understand. I get it. You're curious. HSS skip skips the bottom, like the middle section of the dungeon. So the motif of the dungeon is the top half is ice and the bottom half is lava. HSS skip skips basically all of the lava part. We'll see a little bit of lava at the end here, just because the boss's room is on the lava part. But everything else we cut out. The second thing we cut out is the hyper slingshot, the dungeon item, the HSS part of the HSS skip. And then the third thing that we cut out is the mini boss Fripolar. Fripolar is the sort of motifed boss, fire and ice motif of the dungeon. So by doing HSS skip, we skip all of that, saving us around 5 minutes overall on the run, and cutting out a bunch of annoying side scrollers and puzzles that we just don't want to deal with. Yeah. qdoe right now gonna start his own version of the world destruction coming up here in just a bit. And now, oh, Dragon also gets to skip one of these ice chunk throws. So we save a bunch of keys by doing an HSS skip, which means that we don't have to pick up a key in this frozen over lava area that you're seeing on screen right now. We would typically have to throw 4 ice chunks, but instead we only have to throw 3, skipping a key and being able to get to the boss quicker. Dragon did get the HSS skip in a number of times that allows for him to retain a decent number of seeds, which is going to be beneficial for him in this dungeon, because part of the compounding detriment of not getting an early HSS skip is that you run out of Pegasus seeds early, which slows down the entire dungeon. So not only are you losing however much time from getting a 9th try HSS skip, but then you also don't have any Pegasus seeds left for the rest of the dungeon, which means that you're losing time after HSS skip. So Dragon, luckily, 6th try gives him enough seeds remaining that he's not losing too much time because of seed reasons. Throwing the last ice chunk in, and is going to make his way to the Medusa head now. I spoiled the boss, chat. I didn't even mean to do it. It just came out naturally. The Dungeon 8 boss. You're gonna see it anyways. It's a Medusa head. It's the only game unique boss in Seasons. If you've noticed, all of the other bosses in the game can be found in other Zelda games. Medusa's head is the only original one. Unfortunately, Medusa's head is also arguably one of the easiest bosses, especially considering how late in the game she is. She's the last dungeon boss, which is, you would expect a bit more punch from her, but it's a pretty simple boss, straightforward. Grabbing the last essence. All 8 essences have been gotten, and now we can face off against Onyx, our final boss. Do you remember Onyx from the beginning of the game? We haven't seen him since the very start. That was a whole hour and almost 45 minutes ago. Oof. Oh, how quickly we forget. However, before we can go to Onyx's castle, we need to pick up a little present from the Makru tree. Because the Makru tree provides us with a seed that will allow us to break through the barrier protecting Onyx's castle. You've seen that Makru tree has gotten yoked out since the start of the run. With every essence, he grows in power and has become a full-fledged tree. And we get this short little cutscene here reminding you, like, hey guys, Onyx is the final boss. Don't forget. By the way, Onyx is evil. Ha 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 ha. qdoe doing HSS skip. Not quite getting it. Looks like he's on either 1st or 2nd try right now. So we'll see if he can get it done. Oh. What we got? What do we got? What do we got? Not quite able to get it there, unfortunately. As Dragon uses the seed to get the Maku tree, or get the barrier broken. Slight spoiler there in chat for this upcoming cutscene. You're gonna see right here that this old robed individual that we've seen multiple times throughout the run was actually Twin Rova in disguise. And we discovered that this whole game is just a big ploy to resurrect Ganon. That's all that they've been doing this entire time. General Onyx is a minion of Ganon, and they're actually in the process of reviving Ganon right now. And this is nothing but a distraction. However, you don't fight Ganon in this game, in the unlocked game. Or in the unlinked game, not unlocked game. We're gonna make our way through a couple of rooms here. And fight Facade again. Hey, remember Facade from Dungeon 2 that we didn't get to fight properly? We got a proper fight. It still wasn't hard. Dragon got some decent RNG. You can get very unlucky, depending on your RNG on Facade. Facade can spawn a bunch of holes that makes it very difficult to hit with the bombs. And we're back to Onyx, baby. We get to see Onyx again. Onyx takes 7 spin slashes and has a variety of moves. The main move is the ball and chain, swinging it around and slamming it down on you. He also does that little jump there, bringing rocks down on the ground, and he will then potentially use tornadoes, as you're seeing right now. Phase 1 was Dinless. Now in Phase 2, he pulls out Din to act as a shield to protect against your attacks. But in reality, you can use the shield, use Din to damage buffer, which causes you to get 2 hits on Onyx for only 1 hit on Din, 1 spin slash. And we find out that Onyx was actually a dragon the whole time. Our final boss was a dragon. It was a dragon in shining armor. Oh no. Dragon unfortunately falling off the hand, getting sort of bopped up and jumping off. A little bit unfortunate there. Luckily getting the hand slide pretty quickly here. And we'll see if he can get a better couple of slashes. Ooh, falling off one more time, but getting the hand slam, that is about as lucky as you can get as far as falling off goes. Oh! Oh! Getting a little bit close there with the last hit, but just barely before Onyx starts to go and get out of the way. Getting the kill. Very nice. Very solid fight there. qdoe still trying to get past HSS skip. Unfortunately struggling with it right now. I'm gonna see if I can bring Dragon in for an interview if he is interested in that. Give me one. Let's see. Okay. He said he will be doing an interview with us. So as soon as he hops in here, we'll do some chats with him. Hopefully qdoe can get this HSS skip down. He is currently struggling quite a bit here, which is unfortunate. It's a hard trick. I mean, at the end of the day, bottom line, it's a difficult trick to get. And if you're not super practiced in it, it can be a real pain. Dragon.
Hi.
Hello. GG's.
GG.
GG's. 148.06.
Easy.
Cut the 149.
Damn it. My predictions are all wrong now.
So, I mean, obvious question. How do you feel about the run? How do you feel about everything that went down here?
I don't know. Was interesting, I guess.
Interesting.
Definitely.
You ended up with like 6 try HSS skip, which is not too bad, all things considered.
Nah.
I mean, it left you with enough seeds to not slow walk through the rest of the dungeon.
I never have enough seats anyway, so who cares?
Oh, yeah. Is that not having enough seeds? So then I have a question about your after dungeon 6. Did you go to the Pegasus tree, or did you farm seeds from the fall leaves outside of the?
No, I went to the Pegasus tree.
So after dungeon 6, you went to the Pegasus tree and then just used up all your seeds getting the bell, and then went back to the Pegasus tree again.
Yeah.
Is this? Have you always done this?
No. Yeah. Maybe. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Maybe sometimes.
Okay, Dragon being a little bit secretive here with his strats for.
It's not secretive. I'm doing it, and it's on like speed gaming numbers, so it's fine. It's not secretive.
I see.
Can't help it. People don't. Can't help it that people don't watch my run. That's their problem, not mine.
All right. Fair. Hey, qdoe, getting the HSS skip finally. Will be able to finish out the run. I'm glad that he decided to stick through and not quit after seeing the dot done from Dragon. Good to see. So then, what are there parts of the run that you were pleased with that you thought went really well?
Like the road from D1 to D2. What happened there? I don't know. But something happened there, and I wanted Power Ring, but then I didn't get the sounds, and then I was on the normal manip, and I'm like, what happened? Okay. No, that's fine. It was confusing. I had no clue.
Yeah.
For some reason, I guess I got the perfect RNG at mashing. I started mashing at the start, because I got a low at the start. That's like, that must have been perfect. Otherwise, I would have had normal RNG there. But also, my sword slashes on Aquamens were different, so yeah, I must have had the perfect X smash there through the title screen or something.
And then, what happened on Maple? I didn't have your audio for that point, so I didn't hear it. Did you slash too much, or?
I didn't get any sounds that resembled it. That's what I'm saying. I think I had the perfect perfect title screen RNG to be early.
Nice.
So I started with a low, and then I think it was a mid. I don't know mids from highs when they're singled out like that, but I guess that must have been the perfect starting mashing that got me the early cycle on that, and I didn't slash too far ahead during May because I got all lows and stuff, and I'm like, there are not supposed to be any lows here. I think I fucked up, so I just went on with it.
I see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, still recovering. Yeah, you got back on the normal manipulation after Maple anyway, so
like
those sword
straight
slashes
after,
that you did,
I was exactly on the same RNG.
Yeah. So
like,
it ended up working out for the best. It was a little bit surprising, but
yeah, I'm like, okay. I saw this Octorox. I'm like, I know that. I know that. And then it was fall. I'm like, okay, I know this. And then Octorox moved. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely on the RNG.
That was good. You kept your rupees. Didn't have to worry about any sort of rupee chest or anything like that, and everything like that too.
Yeah.
Oh, so a good. I mean, a solid run overall of 148. And now I think you're going up against. Yeah, I mean, you and Saga's going up next week in winter semis on the other side. How are you? How you feeling about going up against Sagas?
Feeling good, getting good runs down. I'm improving my times structurally, so it can only get better from here, right?
That is true. You think you're gonna double down on trying to get the power, like figuring out the power ring manip properly, just to make sure that you have it down, or are you just gonna sort of hope that you get it, and if you don't?
Clearly, I know the backup already, so I don't know. If I get it, I get it, I guess. I don't know. I wanted to try to get a power ring and just see what I could do with it, but apparently it didn't work, so yeah. Well, next week, another day.
Next week, another opportunity to maybe whip out power ring for your first completed run with it.
Yeah.
That's good. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Say to chat, say to me, say to...
Hi.
Hello. Meanwhile, we have qdoe here entering into Medusa's head. And will be making his way to Ganon, or not Ganon, Onyx rather, shortly. Yeah, unfortunately, qdoe did get locked up at HSS Skip for quite a while. I think he ended up having to soft reset. And he ended up doing it at least once, potentially twice. Which is just an unfortunate time loss. Could have gained that back a little bit of time on you, on Dragon, just by getting an early try there, but it doesn't always pan out. It's a hard trick. Very, very difficult to get consistently. But we appreciate the commitment and going through and finishing up strong rather than giving up after the loss here. I'm gonna make a quick trip again to the Maku tree, pick up the seed, and then head to Onyx's castle again. Hopefully we'll see a clean Onyx castle and Onyx fight from qdoe. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't believe that a sub 2 run is possible from qdoe. I could prove me wrong, but obviously a definite sub 205 so long as Onyx goes smoothly. And we will see how close down he can cut it. Fun fact about the Maku seed there is that the only requirement to get the Maku seed is to have the 8th essence from the 8th dungeon. So if you could find a way to get to the 8th essence before the other essences, you would be able to skip out on pretty much everything. Pretty much, I mean, in a hypothetical where you could go straight to grab the 8th essence and then go, you could go straight to Onyx right away. But unfortunately, there are sort of layered locks and layered triggers that require you to do all the other dungeons. The subrosion that you have to have there to blow up the volcano is locked behind Dungeon 7. The pirates are locked behind Dungeon 6. The gems are locked behind Dungeon 5. One of the gems is locked behind Dungeon 4. Dungeon 4, Dimitri for Dungeon 4 is locked behind Dungeon 3, and it keeps going back and back all the way through Dungeon 1. Like, Rosa won't show up until after you beat Dungeon 1. So because of those layered locks, you do have to get all 8 essences. But if you were to find a way to skip out on that and bypass locks, you would be able to cut down on a lot of time here in the run. Just thus far, no one has found any sort of significant skip to that scope. The game is pretty much done as intended outside of HSS and post-skip, but mostly skip. Clean with robes. Clean enough whiz robes here. Just wants to not get caught by hands. Playing it safe. There we go. And we want Facade to be kind. Come on, Facade. Double spiders is not bad. Picking up the extra bombs just in case something goes wrong on Onyx. Pretty solid safety strat there. As we get in. Onyx going well so far. Jumping not bad. Not missing any spin slashes. Gonna start phase 2 here with Din. Finish strong, qdoe. Finish strong. We want a clean finish here. Ooh, gain a bad hit on Din there. Oh no. Alright, commentator's curse. I'd like to apologize to qdoe for everything that I've done here. Not intended by any stretch of the imagination. Entering into the Onyx fight. We'll see. I don't know if qdoe does stunlock strats. If he does do stunlock strats, then we will be done here shortly. Okay, so no stunlock. Oh, if he could have potentially stayed on if he got the jump. Gets the hand slide, only one blue fireball. Not bad at all. We're all good. Oh, get back on. Okay. Fell off. That is not. No. Oh no. Oh no. 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 Please. Please. Come on, qdoe. That was. He's gonna get fireballs now. All right, stay alive, qdoe. Stay alive. He can take one more. No, he can't take any more hits. No. qdoe taking the death. Unfortunately. Gonna keep pressing on. Really gonna push through. Go again. Appreciated the commitment. Wanting to finish it out strong. Unfortunately taking the death there. Luckily he did get the bomb pickup, so he's not in trouble for Facade. As he has 9 bombs currently. He is gonna want to pick up the fairy though. As he comes out of Facade, or pick up Facade's fairy rather. Okay, fireball's good. I don't think he's gonna be able to get 3 off, so he should not. Okay. Not wasting the bomb there. Unfortunately getting holes on the second spawn there. Good bomb throw. And clean. Okay, so not bad RNG for Facade, but not good. Just situational awareness and getting the good kill. Back to Onyx. This is going to be the cleanest Onyx fight you've ever seen, chat. Come on. We want support. Support qdoe in the chat. Give qdoe your energy. We need a clean fight here. He's going to finish this strong. Getting the sub 205 for sure. Bring it in home. Bring it on home. Bring it on home. Talking is hard. Okay. Okay. Alright. Phase 2 down. And he's at a good number of hearts here. More hearts than he had last time when he went in. This is a good sign. If he can, again, just stay on the hands. Not get an unlucky fall. We should see it sub 205. First hit. Second hit. Third hit. Ooh, okay. Fourth hit. Fifth hit. Okay. No! qdoe! qdoe, no! Why? Why did you do that? Oh man, that is so unfortunate. Okay, he's okay though. He's fine. He'll finish. He'll finish strong. Just a unfortunate little slip up there, I think. Probably let go of the button at the wrong time. There we go. Finishing it out. Strong. Getting the kill with the time of 2:05:09. Solid, strong finish from qdoe. Not letting the death to dragonc0 deter him from finishing. Okay. We're going to get qdoe in here as well for an interview in just a moment. Talk to him. A very, very solid race from both of our runners. Again, congratulations to Dragon for the victory. He will be progressing forward to winners semifinals to go on against Sagas, which will take place sometime next week. qdoe, despite having fallen to losers, still in the tournament, just is going to be in losers bracket, where he will be going up against the winner of the tomorrow's match between Zelda and Stanner. So there are 2 matches tomorrow, both of them for the losers bracket, to see who will progress through losers bracket and who will be knocked out of the tournament. Those races for tomorrow that you should all hang out for and come watch, because Seasons is a great game. Vascos and Vlak, their match will be happening at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And Zelda and Stanner will be taking place at 3:30 Eastern. Vlak and Vascos will be commentated by Mr. Mighty Mouth himself. Zelda and Stanner I will be commentating for. We do not have speed gaming channels assigned to us yet, but if you just check into the speed gaming schedule, you will be able to catch that as soon as it is properly updated. Where is again, we're just waiting for qdoe to hop on in here. And we will have a little bit of chat. I will... okay. He did not receive the bot link. I'm going to invite him right now. My apologies, chat. Seems that he did not receive the invite to the server, so I've just sent him the invite right now. And I believe he's here now. Hello.
Here I am. Hello.
So, GG's on the finish, finishing strong. I know it's can be a little bit disheartening if you get the death to dragonc0, but you finished it out.
You know, I'm gonna take issue with the word strong, but I finished, so, you know.
Any tournament finish after a dragonc0 death is a strong finish. That's,
yeah.
I'll stand by it. I'll stand by it. So the question, my question, big question for you. We're not going to talk about HSS skip because it's HSS skip. But up until that Dungeon 8 point, how were you feeling about just your overall performance in the play and everything like that?
I thought my run up to that point was actually pretty good for me, at least. I have no idea where Dragon was or anything, but, you know, HSS skip, you know, it's in the run. It's, you know.
Yes, that is a good little shorthand for the experience that is HSS skip. It's there. It happens.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it looked.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it looked from our side that everything right up until HSS skip was pretty clean on your part. You believe there was no issues in D7 with post skip, and
yeah. I did have a little bit of I forgot to go to Pegasus seed tree after D6. I thought I had enough seeds, but I did not. So I was a little bit low on seeds, which led to a little bit slower D7 than I usually have. But it wasn't too bad overall.
No, not at all. The whole run was again very clean. It's just HSS skip happens, and it's hard not to get a little bit put on tilt for Onyx after you spend that long doing HSS skip. So standard season's fair, I think, from that point on.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, so now you're going to be going. I mean, you unfortunately getting shifted down to losers bracket, still in the tournament though. So you'll be going up against the winner of tomorrow's match between Giselle Shaft and Stanner. How are you feeling about progressing through losers? How do you feel about sort of your own practice, training, whatever you want to call it, for the next week and potentially continuing to move forward through losers?
Well, I'm definitely gonna take a look at HSS skip and you know, polish that up a little bit. Otherwise, I don't know too much about Giselle Shaft. I know Stanner. I don't know. I think that's going to be a good match if it ends up being against Stanner. But you know, looking forward to the next match. It'll be. I think it'll be a good one either way. So. Well,
you have about a week to clean up on your HSS skip. Maybe. Oh, that was the jump before the Rockscape in D7. Get a bit more familiar with that jump as well, because I know that you ended up taking the long way around. So.
Oh yeah, that one for me is just I go for it without the setup, and if I make it, I make it. If I don't, then. But
playing it's so risky in the tournament.
I don't know. I feel like I make it enough times without the setup that doing the setup just feels unnecessary to me. I don't know.
I understand. I know what that feeling. Okay. Well then, you know, I mean, you just need to get it then. First try every time, easy.
Yeah, that's first try every time except for in tournaments. So.
You know, that's the story of all tournament matches ever, really. Yeah. I think.
Right.
But again, yeah, a big GG's to both you and Dragon. I think if there's anything else you would like to say before we start to wrap it up.
I don't have anything too specific. You know, remove HSS skip, but other than that. Well, in that case, I think both of our runners are done. So we're going to wrap it up. Again, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, we will have the race between Vlak and Vascos. 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we will have the race between Giselle Shaft and Stanner to figure out which two are going to be progressing through losers bracket and which two are going to be knocked out of the tournament. Both races should be a joy to watch, and everyone should show up there. Again, as soon as the Speed Gaming website, scheduling website is updated with the specific channels, you will be able to find out what channels you can catch those runs on. But they will both be, again, tomorrow, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern and 3:30 p.m. Eastern, respectively. With that being said, we are finished up here. Thank you so much for coming out and watching. I've been Phenomenon. Thank you for taking this journey with me. I hope that you enjoyed your time with Seasons. A big GG's and a thank you to Dragon and qdoe for participating in the race and giving us a good show. And we look forward to seeing you all in the future. We'll do a little promo for the runners. You can go to their channels and follow them there. That is all. Thank you so much. Until the next time. Peace.